As men grow older, the body begins to whisper truths that are easy to ignore but impossible to escape. At first, it's subtle. A little less energy in the morning, a little more fatigue after dinner, a slow decline in motivation that you can't quite explain. Then one day, you realize that what you thought was just aging might actually be something deeper, something driven by what's happening inside your cells, your blood vessels, and your diet. After the age of 60, the body's chemistry changes dramatically. Hormones that once surged effortlessly begin to taper off. Blood flow, which once moved with strength and vitality, starts to slow as the inner lining of your blood vessels, the endothelium, becomes less responsive. This lining is like the software that runs your circulation, sending signals to open blood vessels when you need energy, strength, or arousal. When it stops working properly, everything downstream begins to struggle. Most people assume that decline is inevitable. They think it's just part of getting old. But the truth is, much of what we associate with aging is not destiny. It's diet. The food you eat sends chemical messages to every cell in your body. Some foods signal healing, repair, and regeneration. Others trigger inflammation, oxidation, and decay. Over time, those messages write the story of how you age. Imagine your blood vessels as a vast highway system delivering oxygen and nutrients to every part of your body. When you eat processed foods, excess sugars, and certain unhealthy fats, it's like throwing debris onto that highway. Traffic slows down. Crashes happen. The flow stops. But when you nourish your body with foods that promote healthy nitric oxide levels, leafy greens, berries, pomegranate, beets, the highways clear up again. Blood begins to move with vitality, and the tissues that depend on that flow start to recover their natural rhythm. It's not about quick fixes or pills. Those only mask the symptom while the root continues to grow. It's about reprogramming your biology through daily choices. The foods you eat, the sleep you allow, the stress you reduce. Every meal becomes medicine or poison. Every bite either feeds disease or builds strength. Modern science has shown that even at 60, 70, or beyond, men can repair damaged blood vessels and boost circulation naturally. The body never loses its ability to heal. It only needs the right signals. When you introduce nutrient-rich foods, rich in polyphenols, antioxidants, and healthy fats, the body responds like a well-trained orchestra coming back into tune after years of silence. The energy returns. The mind clears. The performance, both mental and physical, begins to rise again. But the problem is many men unknowingly eat in ways that sabotage their vitality. They skip fresh produce, rely on heavy meats and refined carbs, and neglect hydration. Slowly, the damage accumulates. Blood vessels stiffen, inflammation rises, and the body's natural regenerative power weakens. This is not weakness, it's a signal. Your body is asking for help. The good news is that transformation doesn't require extreme diets or unrealistic restrictions. It requires awareness. Understanding that food is not just fuel, it's information. When you start feeding your body with the right information, it listens. Your metabolism adapts, your blood vessels respond, and your energy begins to reflect the care you give yourself. Aging doesn't mean losing your vitality, your confidence, or your strength. It means learning to work with your biology instead of against it. It means realizing that what you put on your plate today shapes the man you'll be tomorrow. It means understanding that your body's potential for performance, healing, and renewal never truly fades. It only waits for you to awaken it again through the choices you make each day. When we talk about men's performance after 60, it's not only about strength or stamina. It's about cellular vitality, the ability of your body to repair itself at the most fundamental level. Inside every one of us are about 37 trillion cells, constantly receiving signals from what we eat, how we move, and how we love. That these cells respond to the environment we create for them. If you feed them processed food, they respond with inflammation. If you feed them nutrients, they respond with regeneration. Think of your body as a living ecosystem. Every organ, every blood vessel, every nerve is part of a complex network that depends on balance. Aging begins when that balance is disrupted. One of the earliest signs of imbalance shows up in blood flow. When your circulation slows, it's not just your heart that's affected. It's your brain, your muscles, your energy, even your mood. The loss of circulation is the silent decline that few notice until it becomes impossible to ignore. But there is hope, because the science of longevity shows us something remarkable: the body never stops trying to heal. Even after decades of poor diet or sedentary living, the moment you give your cells the right nutrients, they begin to regenerate. This is the beauty of human biology. It is forgiving, adaptable, and built for recovery. The foods that protect men's health after 60 are often the simplest. Deeply colored fruits like blueberries, blackberries, and grapes are rich in compounds that repair the inner lining of blood vessels. Green vegetables like spinach, kale, and broccoli activate nitric oxide, a molecule that tells your blood vessels to relax and open. Tomatoes, rich in lycopene, help reduce oxidative stress in the arteries. Even olive oil, when cold, pressed, and natural, contains polyphenols that can lower inflammation and improve vascular flexibility. Each of these foods acts like a signal to your body, saying, heal, repair, rebuild. And the moment those signals reach your bloodstream, change begins. Your blood vessels become more elastic, your cells receive more oxygen, your energy stabilizes, and your metabolism starts to wake up. This is how the cycle of decline reverses. Not overnight, but steadily, quietly, consistently. Many men ask, does this matter? Isn't aging natural? Yes, aging is natural, but decline is not inevitable. The problem is that modern life accelerates aging through chronic inflammation. We eat too much sugar, too much salt, too much fat that's been stripped of nutrients. We sit for long hours, sleep too little, and live under constant stress. These habits create a storm inside your body, an environment where your cells are constantly fighting for balance. And when that battle continues for too long, the systems that once work effortlessly begin to break down. Science has shown that inflammation and oxidative stress are at the core of nearly every chronic disease. Heart disease, diabetes, cognitive decline, even loss of physical performance. After 60, the balance between inflammation and regeneration becomes even more delicate. The body still produces regenerative cells, endothelial progenitor cells, stem cells, immune cells, but their activity depends on the signals they receive from your lifestyle. If those signals are toxic, their ability to repair diminishes. But if those signals are nourishing, they rise again. This is why diet matters so deeply. Food doesn't just fill your stomach, it programs your biology. For example, when you eat refined carbohydrates, your blood sugar spikes and insulin floods your bloodstream. Over time, that constant insulin response damages your blood vessels, making them stiff and less responsive. But when you eat whole foods rich in fiber like oats, legumes, and vegetables, your blood sugar stays stable and your body produces less insulin. That stability protects your circulation and keeps your metabolism balanced. And it's not only about what you eat, it's about what you avoid. Processed meats, fried foods, sugary beverages, and excessive alcohol are among the most damaging substances for men's vascular health. These foods trigger oxidative stress that attacks your endothelial cells, the very cells that regulate blood flow. The damage may not be visible, but it accumulates over time, leading to fatigue, loss of energy, and a decline in performance across every system of your body. Now imagine shifting your daily habits in small, powerful ways. You start your morning with a glass of water and a handful of berries instead of a sugar-filled pastry. You replace fried snacks with a handful of nuts or a piece of fruit. You introduce a short walk after meals to stimulate blood flow. You begin to sleep an extra hour each night, allowing your body to enter deep repair mode. Each small change is like a switch turning on a dormant part of your body. Over time, those switches light up a path towards strength, clarity, and vitality. What's extraordinary is that the body responds fast. Within weeks of improving your diet, studies show measurable increases in nitric oxide levels and vascular elasticity. Blood flow improves, energy rises, and mental focus sharpens. Within months, markers of inflammation begin to drop, cholesterol stabilizes, and blood pressure adjusts naturally. And beyond the numbers, something more subtle happens. You begin to feel alive again. That feeling isn't psychological, it's physiological. When blood flow improves, your brain receives more oxygen. When inflammation decreases, your energy stabilizes. When your cells are nourished, your mood improves. The systems of your body start to communicate again, harmonizing like instruments in an orchestra finally playing in tune. That's what vitality feels like, not youth returning, but balance restored. Men who thrive after 60 often share one trait in common. They take ownership of their biology. They stop believing that aging means losing control. Instead, they become curious about how food, exercise, and mindset shape their health. They begin to treat their body as an evolving system that can be improved at any stage of life. That curiosity becomes their superpower. Exercise plays a powerful role in this transformation too. Movement sends a signal to your body to release growth factors that repair tissue, build muscle, and support circulation. You don't need to lift heavy weights or run marathons. A brisk walk, gentle resistance training, or even stretching for 15 minutes a day activates systems that keep your metabolism alive. Every time your heart beats faster from activity, your body is reminded that you are alive, that you need your systems working at their best. Stress, on the other hand, is one of the biggest enemies of men's health after 60. Chronic stress releases cortisol, a hormone that suppresses testosterone, slows metabolism, and weakens the immune system. Managing stress is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Meditation, deep breathing, and spending time in nature are not soft practices, they are biological interventions. They lower cortisol, improve blood flow, and restore balance to the nervous system. Sleep is another hidden factor that determines vitality. During deep sleep, your brain clears toxins, your body repairs cells, and your hormones rebalance. Skipping sleep is like cutting off your body's nightly maintenance. It's one of the most overlooked causes of fatigue, low motivation, and poor performance. Prioritizing sleep is one of the most effective ways to extend your lifespan and enhance your energy. Hydration, too, plays a quiet but essential role. Blood is 90% water. When you're dehydrated, your blood thickens, circulation slows, and your organs receive less oxygen. Staying hydrated supports every function in your body, from digestion to cognition to physical stamina. A simple habit, drinking enough water, can have profound effects on how you feel each day. There's also a psychological component to performance that cannot be ignored. Men who stay optimistic, connected, and purposeful live longer and healthier lives. Isolation, boredom, and hopelessness accelerate decline. The mind and body are intertwined. When you feel engaged with life, your body responds with vitality. The best medicine for aging isn't only in the kitchen or the gym. It's also in meaningful connection and purpose. Many men find renewed strength when they redefine what masculinity means after 60. It's not about dominance or competition anymore. It's about resilience, wisdom, and the ability to adapt. True strength is the courage to care for yourself, to eat right, to move daily, to rest deeply, and to love your body enough to give it what it needs to heal. Science continues to uncover that aging can be slowed, even partially reversed, by targeting the mechanisms that drive cellular damage. Nutrients like omega-3 fatty acids, curcumin, and resveratrol activate pathways that protect your DNA and extend the life of your cells. Fasting or eating within shorter windows can trigger autophagy, a natural process where your body cleans out damaged cells and replaces them with healthy ones. These are not fads, they're built into your biology. When you give your body the right environment, it rewards you with strength. The most inspiring truth is that it's never too late. Whether you're 60 or 90, the body always listens. Within you is the same machinery that once fueled your youth. It's not broken, it's dormant. All it needs is activation through nourishment, movement, and care. When you begin to live with intention, when you start eating to heal instead of eating to fill, your biology responds with gratitude. The spark returns. Aging is not the enemy, it's a teacher. It shows you where your attention is needed. It reminds you to honor your body as the vessel that carries your purpose. Every H, every slowdown, every new challenge is simply your biology asking for renewal. When you listen, when you respond, when you change, you discover that vitality is not lost. It's waiting for you to claim it again. When we think about men's vitality after 60, we have to go beyond the surface of appearance or strength and look at the quiet biological orchestra that sustains life every single moment. Inside every artery, every tiny capillary, there's a constant conversation happening between cells, hormones, and nutrients. This communication decides whether your body moves toward life or toward decline. And that conversation is directly shaped by what you choose to eat, how you manage stress, and how you move your body each day. If you imagine your body as a city, your blood vessels are the roads that connect everything. Your heart is the power plant, your organs are the neighborhoods, and your blood carries the energy that keeps the lights on. But if the roads crack, if traffic slows, if pollution fills the air, the city begins to age faster. That's exactly what happens when circulation weakens. When the blood flow diminishes, every part of your body receives less oxygen and fewer nutrients. Energy fades, tissues weaken, and the spark that drives vitality begins to dim. The most powerful discovery of modern nutrition science is that this process is not fixed. The damage is not permanent. The body can rebuild. Inside your arteries, there are cells that constantly renew the inner lining. Given the right nutrients, they can restore elasticity and function even after years of neglect. Foods that are rich in antioxidants, berries, leafy greens, citrus, green tea, protect those cells from oxidative stress. The pigments that give plants their deep colors are natural medicine designed by nature to defend life. When you eat them, that defense becomes yours. The other key is blood flow itself. Movement, even gentle movement, activates genes that keep your blood vessels open and flexible. A simple 30-minute walk increases nitric oxide, lowers blood pressure, and improves oxygen delivery. The more consistent the movement, the stronger the signal your body receives. Keep the highways open, keep the city alive. Every step, every stretch, every breath of deep air becomes a message of longevity. But food and movement are only two pieces of the puzzle. The third is mindset. The way you think about aging determines how your biology responds to it. If you believe aging equals decline, your brain releases stress hormones that accelerate the process. But if you believe aging is evolution, a new chapter that can be optimized, your body releases regenerative chemicals that support repair. Belief is not abstract, it's chemical. Your thoughts literally become molecules that circulate through your bloodstream, influencing how every organ functions. There's a profound connection between the brain and the body. When you feel joy, gratitude, or purpose, your brain releases endorphins and oxytocin, which reduce inflammation and improve immune function. When you live in chronic stress or bitterness, your brain releases cortisol and adrenaline, which constrict blood vessels and age your tissues faster. This means that emotional health is physical health. The way you handle life's challenges directly affects your energy, stamina, and overall vitality. Many men notice that after 60, the motivation to care for themselves fades. They think it's too late, or what's the point now? But that thought itself is the greatest barrier to renewal. The truth is, your body is still listening. It's still rebuilding bone, generating new cells, repairing damaged DNA every single day. The process slows with age, but it never stops. When you give it the right support, it responds faster than you expect. Within weeks of eating clean and moving regularly, you can measure the difference, not just in numbers, but in how you feel when you wake up, in the steadiness of your energy throughout the day, and in the calm that settles into your mind. One of the most overlooked factors in vitality is gut health. The trillions of bacteria in your digestive tract are not just passengers, they are active participants in your metabolism, your immune system, even your mood. As you age, the diversity of these bacteria tends to decline, especially when your diet lacks fiber or includes too many processed foods. A poor microbiome leads to systemic inflammation, which in turn damages blood vessels and slows metabolism. But when you feed your gut with plant fibers, vegetables, fruits, legumes, whole grains, you grow the bacteria that produce short-chain fatty acids, compounds that heal the intestinal lining and reduce inflammation throughout your body. In simple terms, your gut health determines how well you age. Hydration is another silent player. Every biochemical reaction in your body happens in water. When you're dehydrated, cells shrink, enzymes slow down, and waste removal becomes inefficient. Older adults often lose their natural sense of thirst, which means dehydration becomes chronic without obvious symptoms. Fatigue, poor concentration, or low stamina may not be aging. They may simply be dehydration. Drinking enough water, herbal teas, or eating water-rich foods like cucumbers, melons, and citrus can restore clarity and strength in ways that no supplement can replicate. Another dimension of aging is hormonal balance. After 60, testosterone levels tend to drop gradually, but this decline is heavily influenced by lifestyle. Excess body fat, especially around the abdomen, converts testosterone into estrogen. Lack of sleep lowers natural testosterone production. Chronic stress blocks the signaling between the brain and the glands that produce these hormones. The good news is these effects are reversible. Strength training, adequate protein intake, restful sleep, and stress reduction all help restore balance naturally. You don't need aggressive interventions, you need consistency and care. Sleep deserves its own attention. During deep sleep, your brain releases growth hormone, which triggers cellular repair, muscle maintenance, and fat metabolism. Without enough of it, you accumulate damage that compounds over time. Many older men struggle with sleep, but often it's because of caffeine late in the day, a heavy meals at night, or too much screen exposure before bed. Simple adjustments: dimming lights earlier, finishing meals 2 hours before sleep, keeping your room cool and dark can dramatically improve sleep quality and, with it, the body's ability to heal. Then there's the role of sunlight. Moderate sunlight exposure helps your skin synthesize vitamin D, a hormone crucial for immune health, bone strength, and mood regulation. As you age, your skin becomes less efficient at this process, which makes daily exposure even more important. 15 to 20 minutes of morning sunlight not only supports vitamin D levels, but also helps set your circadian rhythm, improving sleep at night. It's one of nature's simplest therapies, and yet many neglect it. The connection between food and blood flow also explains why some men maintain vitality well into their 70s and 80s, while others begin to feel weak in their 50s. The difference often lies in the consistent intake of plant-based compounds that activate the body's natural repair systems. For example, compounds in green tea called catechins enhance the production of nitric oxide and protect against arterial stiffness. Lycopene in tomatoes protects against oxidative stress in vascular tissue. Anthocyanins in dark berries strengthen capillaries and reduce inflammation. Each of these nutrients is a tiny piece of a much larger puzzle, a puzzle that, when complete, reveals a body capable of sustained energy and strength even in later years. Aging is not just physical, it's deeply emotional and spiritual. When a man begins to lose energy, he often starts to lose confidence. The mind starts to create a narrative of decline. That narrative can become self-fulfilling, but it can also be rewritten. Confidence is biochemical. It's tied to neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, both of which are heavily influenced by diet and lifestyle. Whole foods, regular movement, social connection, and creative engagement all increase these chemicals naturally. The result is a renewed sense of drive and purpose that feeds directly into physical health. What's extraordinary about the human body is that improvement can happen at any stage. In studies of men in their 70s who switched to nutrient-rich diets and consistent exercise, researchers found measurable increases in mitochondrial function, the energy factories of your cells. These men didn't just slow their decline, they reversed it. Their muscles grew stronger, their insulin sensitivity improved, and their cardiovascular endurance increased. That's not anti-aging. That's pro-living. Another overlooked aspect is inflammation control through spices and herbs. Turmeric, ginger, garlic, and cinnamon contain compounds that rival pharmaceutical drugs in their anti-inflammatory effects without side effects. Adding them to your meals daily acts as a gentle but powerful healing mechanism. These ingredients don't just flavor your food, they fine-tune your metabolism and protect your tissues from damage. And then there's fasting, not starvation, but strategic pauses between meals that allow the body to enter repair mode. When you fast for 12 to 16 hours, your insulin levels drop. Your body starts burning fat for energy and autophagy begins, a process where cells clear out damaged components and rebuild stronger versions of themselves. Even doing this a few days a week can make a noticeable difference in energy, mental clarity, and metabolic stability. It's one of the simplest ways to let your body catch up with the repair it's been trying to do for years. Men who continue to feel strong after 60 often have one more thing in common. They stay curious about life. They keep learning, exploring, adapting. The brain thrives on novelty. When you challenge yourself with new skills, new ideas, or even new forms of movement, your brain releases growth factors that keep neural connections alive. Mental stagnation is as dangerous as physical stagnation. Curiosity keeps the circuitry of life active. The power of connection cannot be overstated. Loneliness is one of the most damaging conditions for older adults. It raises the risk of heart disease, cognitive decline, and premature death. Connection with friends, family, community protects against these risks. The laughter, the conversation, the feeling of being seen and valued all generate biological changes that reduce stress hormones and strengthen immunity. Staying socially engaged is not just emotionally fulfilling, it's life extending. There's also the importance of giving, sharing knowledge, time, or kindness. Acts of generosity trigger the release of oxytocin, the bonding hormone that calms the nervous system and promotes cardiovascular health. It's remarkable that something as simple as kindness can produce measurable improvements in your heart and brain. This is why purpose matters. Having something to contribute keeps your biology young. When you bring all these elements together, nutrition, movement, sleep, hydration, mindset, a purpose, you create a synergistic effect that goes beyond the sum of its parts. Your metabolism begins to work like it did decades ago. Your blood vessels regain their rhythm. Your mind clears. Your motivation returns. You begin to feel capable again, not because you turned back time, but because you restored the balance that time had disturbed. The science of health after 60 isn't about fighting age, it's about partnering with it. It's understanding that the same systems that once built your body in youth are still there, waiting to be activated. They respond to your attention, your habits, your choices. When you treat your body as an ally instead of an adversary, it rewards you with strength, clarity, and peace. And this is the deeper truth about aging, diet, and men's performance. It's not a story of loss, but of awakening. The more you learn about how your body truly works, the more you realize that vitality has always been within reach. Every heartbeat, every breath, every meal is a reminder that life continues to offer renewal. Aging is simply the art of learning how to listen more carefully to that offer and to accept it with the wisdom and grace that only experience can bring. So, when you think about growing older, don't think of it as the end of vitality. Think of it as the beginning of awareness. Every day after 60 is not a countdown. It's an invitation to rise into a wiser, more intentional version of yourself. The same body that carried you through your youth still carries the blueprint for renewal. It's waiting for your signal, the signal that says, I'm ready to live again. Your choices are the switch that turn that signal on. The foods you eat, the thoughts you hold, the movements you make, they all speak to your cells. And those cells are listening. They respond with healing, with strength, with energy. You are never too old to rebuild, never too late to begin. The clock does not define your power. Your mindset does. If you feed your body with life, a life will feed you back. If you move with purpose, your blood will carry that purpose to every corner of your being. And if you believe that your best years can still be ahead of you, your biology will rise to meet that belief. Aging is not the fading of your flame. It is the refining of your fire. The truth is simple, you are not running out of time. You are only running out of reasons not to live fully. Choose to begin again today.